Hi guys! No, I'm not gonna say hi guys anymore. Hi everyone! Welcome back to my channel. So today is my first episode of Faithful Feet, and this one is going to specifically be entitled Stay Away from the Edge. The reason why it's entitled it is because, and also by the way, this is based off a sermon that I heard last week at church at Citizens Heights. I'm going to post down below the service I go to and who the pastor was. However, it's based off a sermon I heard there, and he was talking a lot about how we tend to live life on the edge and how it's really fun to like do really risky things sometimes. But then he laid out 3 things that we should stay away from the edge when it comes to in our life. So the first one is stay away from the edge when it comes to your time. So then he had referred to Luke 10 verse 38 to 42. If you have time, go read that. If not, I'll also look that down below so you can click it and go read it for yourself. However, in terms of staying away from the edge when it comes to our time, it means that we need to be more open to God interrupting our times. A lot of times we're always like, oh, I'm too busy to read my Bible today, or oh, I'm too busy with all of these worldly and earthly things that I don't have time to sit down with my Father and read the Bible and to hear what he has to say about my life. I don't have time to sit down and take this 30 minutes or 1 hour to pray and really dedicate and thank God for what he's doing in my life. And I don't have time to just commit time to God and to make sure I'm praying about my purpose in life and make sure it's being revealed to me, making sure that I am being obedient to the word and all that. So we need to stay away from the edge when it comes to our time. Stop putting God on the back burner and also put him up front. So, move God from the back of your life and being like, oh, let me do all of this, make sure this is all good, and then when it's all good, I will come back and then let's see if I have time at the end of the day to read my Bible, or let me skim really quickly. So we need to stay away from the edge when it comes to our time and to make sure that our time is valuable and that we're given time for God to really truly speak to us, for God to come into our hearts, and for God to take absolute control of our life as well. Also, in terms of giving our time, we need to make sure that we are volunteering our time, helping the church, feeding the poor, going out and ministering out to other people. So even in terms of make sure your time is allotted to getting closer and to God and fellowshipping and worshiping, and also giving your time to other things that are going to move the ministry forward and also to move the gospel of word forward towards other people as well. And the second thing we learned today was to stay away from the edge when it comes to our finances. This has to be one of my favorite ones of the 3. He quoted something called the poverty mentality. And I'm reading from my notes, so this is how you know. It's not just all my own thoughts. And it's something called the poverty mentality. And basically, when it comes to our finances, we need to plant generosity and be sacrificial. So I can personally attest to this. I used to be a very greedy, selfish person when it came to money, and that's not because I was hoarding money, or that's not because it's just like I didn't grow up in a place where I had a lot of money allotted to my life in terms of, oh, I want this new Gucci bag, so like I'm gonna get the Gucci bag, or like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go to private school, mom, dad, pay for the private school because you got the money. No, I didn't grow up with all that financial resources. So the mentality in which I grew up to always save money. I grew up to always be very meticulous about my finances. However, when it comes to our finances, it's saying we need to stay away from the edge and using it to just buy things. We're always told to, as consumers, to buy the new iPhone, buy this, buy that. But we need to start giving our money to God. And the money that we have, honestly, we have because of God, and we wouldn't have it if God didn't give to us. So what God gave to you, he can take away. What he gave to us, we need to give back to him and to see it reap more and more. Like in the Bible, when God feeds 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes, he took such little and turned it into the masses, and there was even leftover spilling. So if we give a little bit of what we have to God, he will bring it back to us abundantly, and it will be even spilling more and more. So be willing to give up what little you have to God, and you will see him turn it around and twist it up and spill so much more blessings into your life. So he had also referred to our finances as poverty mentality, which is basically you saying, like, the question, what does someone have that I can take and make my own? And this really struck out to me, and I'm going to be so honest, it really touched me, because with the poverty mentality, you're stuck in this mentality that, oh, I'm so poor, or I don't have enough, or I don't have a lot as the person next to me, so what can I accumulate from their backyard to make and to add to mine, because they have so much, so this little bit they have they wouldn't even miss it, and I need to add it to me, and I need to keep going forward. And this poverty mentality, so many of us are stuck in it, especially if you come from low income backgrounds, and we're so stuck in just survive and survive and survive, and it's not good. And honestly, I was really convicted in the church when I heard this, because I am just like that, where I'm always trying to find out what more can I get to help me move forward. And the thing is, I need to learn to work with what I have. And this, if this message also goes out for you, also learn to work with what you have, and to understand that God is our provider. God provides what little you think you have. And if it's that $70,000 loan that you need to pay back, God is going to provide for you. He put you into that school and knew that you would have a loan. However, he says, be calm, be still, and trust that I am the Lord your God. So God will provide for you. So whatever little we have, we need to break out of that victim mentality. We need to break out of that poverty mentality, and to know that God has got us. So I'm going to read down to you guys quickly a prayer that I wrote in church, and I hope that this prayer also helps someone along. So I wrote down, after I learned about the poverty mentality: Father God, I pray that you give me the strength to break out of my poverty mentality, so that I may stop constantly trying to take from others to add on to my own, but that I instead start to be a giver and find blessings in what I have. And I hope this short prayer helps someone out. And I also pray that you guys also continue to pray to break out of that poverty mentality, because it's very, very dangerous of a mentality to have, and it does not help you reap truly the blessings that God has planned for you. So the third thing we learned was our emotions. Stay away from the edge when it comes to our emotions. We are constantly conformed and informed by our emotions. So the difference between happiness and joy truly is that happiness comes from temporary feelings. It's like, oh, I'm so happy today because I woke up in a great mood, and then I find out that, oh, I got a C on an exam. I'm still not happy anymore. However, the difference between happiness and joy is that with joy, you have an internal joy. That's only joy that God can give you. When you have that internal joy, even though you get that C on that test, you will thank God for that C. You will find blessings in it. Of course, your feelings will be hurt. Of course, you'll be sad about it. But that internal joy, no one can ever take away from you. And that joy comes from God. That's a whole different topic. Happiness and joy. That's a whole different topic. I'll make another one. Comment down below if you do want to hear it. But let me get back to our finances. Our emotions. So in terms of our emotions, he also referred to as the victim mentality. So victim mentality is basically being constantly consumed by what is going on in our life, about the things we didn't get. So we're constantly bound up in the victim mentality. As people, we've all been through things. We've all had experiences that have shaped who we are. There's things that have happened to some of us that have been so horrible that we can't seem to move past it. So in terms of our emotions, we need to break out of the victim mentality. Break out of always blaming something that didn't go right on something else that went wrong in the past. We need to truly let go of what's in the past. In the Bible, take your hand off that plow. You can't have your hand on the plow and still be looking behind you. So we need to take off our hand out that plow and still move forward. So we need to break up the victim mentality and always making ourselves victims. Being like, oh, I didn't get this because of XYZ that happened 20 years ago or 10 years ago or 20 days ago. And we need to break out of that. If we stop being victims, we are able to have faith in others and to support them. When we are free from our victim mentality, we are able to pray for others and allow ourselves to walk in God's miracle and purpose for us. So it's very hard because we are always constantly consumed by what is going wrong in life, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And honestly, a personal testimony is I recently took an exam that I studied so hard for, and I feel like this is the first time I've ever studied that hard in college. I studied so hard for it. I was honestly really prepared. I took the exam, and I got back my test score, and I got a B-. And to me, it was a real shocker, and I couldn't help but to think, all these other students that started studying the night before or the day of the exam who've got A's and A minuses and A whatever. And I was like, oh, well, they come from a school where they were afforded opportunities. They already know about these subjects. They already know how to study. They already know all this. So lucky for them, but bad for me. I'm a victim because I didn't come from a private school that had tutors, or I didn't come from a private school where I was taught more than what others, the average high school student, knew. So I was stuck in a victim mentality. I couldn't help but to blame my past and the fact that I had a public school education and all that. And I honestly just had to take a step back and just thank God for the opportunity, and also thank God, and to know that even though I did not do as well as I wanted on the exam, God's purpose will still come to pass. And that allows me to be more happy for other people. And my friend came up to me, she's like, oh, she got an A on it. I was like, you know what? I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you, and me being able to break out of that victim mentality allowed me to be happy for her. So that's why this says that it allows us to have the faith to support others, because we know that God's plan for our life will not end just because we did, like, things didn't go the way we want. So that was basically it. I honestly really enjoyed this service, this sermon, and I enjoyed speaking to you guys about the first episode of Faithful Feet. So my prayer for you guys all today is that may God continue to honestly strengthen your lives, and may he continue to help you break out of this victim mentality, out of this poverty mentality, and to help you to know your time, how precious your time is, and may you continue to set more time aside for God, and to know that God is the number one in your life. And if your relationship with God is on par, if it's on set, everything else will fall into place. As the word says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all other things will follow. So trust in God, believe in God, and I pray that you guys have a blessed week. Until the next episode, guys. Bye.